You're you'll lose.
Okay, I think you're on now, aren't you?
I am. It's going pre-show now.
Welcome to Lethal Sales Live for the weekly podcast for car people who play to WIN. Nope.
Righty, here we go. Sorry, someone was piping in. Who's that?
Recording in progress.
I don't know. Who's up there? Let's see who's in. We don't know. I don't know. All right. So welcome, John. We haven't had John in a while. We got Mandy back. That's great. Mike Larkin. I hear even maybe my buddy Darren from Toronto may even show up. He was talking to me today, so maybe. Who knows? We'll see what's happening. But I'm trying to remember what the topic is.
Larry.
What's the top? Oh, I got to send Larry a link. What's the topic today?
What do you like and what do you hate about the car business?
Oh, okay. Well, before we start, I wanted to send out prayers to Charlie Kirk's family. If you didn't already hear, he was killed today tragically by an assassin bullet. I hope they string that whoever that was up, and all my prayers to the family. It's a big loss for rational thought and debate, and it's a big loss for a generation because he's only 31 years old. So, and a new father, from what I understand. So,
they supposedly have somebody. We'll see in custody.
I think they let him go.
No, they got another one now.
Okay.
so I was really sad to hear that. So,
So 200 yards away.
I think they said 150, but I don't know. But Larry, did you want to add any thoughts there? I know it's a sad day for the rational thought movement.
It's a great man, 2 young children. And he was a guy that encouraged what you would think would every college would want, dialogue. You know, I just don't understand people, whether they're conservative or liberal, that want to shut down other people's thoughts. I mean, that's what this whole country's predicated on. You have the right, as long as you don't hurt anybody, to say things. But pretty tough day for anybody I think.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I followed him for a long time, and so I'm really feeling that I really believed in what he was doing, and just what he did was important in generating that conversation with the youth and like bringing people into conversation and things that mattered, helping them have an opinion, helping them think critically was very important work.
Yeah.
Guy had amazing debate skills.
Yes.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
And respectful, but it's like he never really ridiculed people that asked hard questions, but he was so quick to fire back with his own questions.
Very, very pragmatic. Ian, thank you for opening up the show, because my daughter, 21 years old, on campus, she's at school, she's a senior, and, she says no matter what political side you're on, I mean, that's just devastating. I mean, this 31-year-old man with his whole life and the hate that they continue to let happen is just devastating. So thoughts and prayers, but it's really you just want positive, and you want good things, and you don't want to see that, and that's just terrible.
And the dark side. If I may add, I just watched Max Foster on TikTok, and he was live, and his I really enjoy his program at 1 a.m. Pacific from London, and on CNN, and his thoughts were absolutely amazing reporting. And he said, we got to do something about the gun laws in the United States. I mean, it has to happen. Thoughts and prayers are no longer working. But the problem is the cities that have the strongest gun laws have the most violence. Because it stops legal people from getting guns,
Yeah.
not illegal people. And
Two kids.
Russell always likes to point out that when we get involved with crazy car situations, we could have had the same discussion 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, in 1968, we lost Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
And they were people that provided people with hope. They thought,
Leadership.
okay, things could be better.
And there was 2 high school kids shot at a Denver high school today. Didn't kill, no deaths, but it's the 47th shooting at a school we've had this year.
And another one that FBI raided yesterday morning at 3 a.m. in Washington, northwest, and descended on the 13-year-old that had the manifesto already for a school shooting and ready, and he had 13 rifles and a full ammunition. How on earth a 13-year-old in that home will have that much ammunition? And this time FBI and SWAT act upon it and got down on the home and saved a whole bunch of another mass shooting.
But again, that's part of the issue. But the other issue is just people have forgotten about dialogue. I mean, that's why this was, and I'm glad Larry brought up Martin Luther King, because at the end of the day, here was a guy who was opening up dialogue. Yeah, he had his own political bent, maybe, which is fine. But at the end of the day, he wanted to have conversations and really get people to think. And at the end of the day, I think that's what was so sad about it from my perspective. Right. I mean, I kind of compared it earlier to a gentleman originally from my country, which is Jordan Peterson. If someone had shot him as a psychiatrist for having a discussion, like, to me, that's insanity. Like, you should be encouraging people to have conversations and to think one thing straight. Yeah.
Well, and this was controversial before he even got there, because a lot of the student body was trying to sign a petition not to have them there. Yeah. And the school puffed up their chest and pounded on their First Amendment. So I mean,
but they didn't protect them enough.
No.
This started in 1980 or 1973 with the Supreme Court decision. We devalued life.
Yeah. I mean, and I know that people spend a lot of time talking about guns globally, but I mean, there was another incident which didn't involve a gun; it involved a knife. So to me, it's you need to have this. Yeah. You need to just have some discussions. You need to have these discussions and really train people in common sense. And I think that's what's missing. So, to get back to the topic, as I guess what you hate and what you love in the car business, to me, and I've had a lot of tough conversations with people, not political, but in the car business about pricing and other things. That dialogue that you have to have in tough situations, which I think Charlie Kirk, to his credit, has been doing for years. That skill to be able to do that was what drove me in the car business a lot of cases, because it was a challenge. But what we're finding is people don't even want the challenge. They just want to ignore the conversation. Like, let's not even have the conversation. Let's just live in our own bubble.
Unfortunately, you witnessed it on that train.
Yeah.
The people didn't want to pay attention to a poor girl being attacked.
Yeah.
And it's like the people, well, if I do something, now they're going to take it out on me. And it's like, well, but at the end of the day, you can't let a crazy man do that. And I mean, it's you got to take initiative, and it's the car business is wonderful compared to what's going on the streets. And there's nothing wrong with the car business, because there's heat and there's nice drive-throughs and there's good commerce going on inside the dealerships. And I will say today, I'm back on the road. I'm back visiting dealerships. And what was really good to see today is that the good dealerships want to get better. And that's great. And they want to embrace technology, and they want to be better. And boy, that was very refreshing to go out and see. Because for the last, 5 years, every day was a different day and nobody knew what to expect. At least now, they got inventory and they're doing business again. And boy, the good ones are just sharpening up, and they got nice people in their good spots. They got general managers that lead. They got F&I managers who actually listen and do a good job and use docu-pads and use nice digital menu presentations. So from that standpoint, with my 40-year career, walking back in the stores today, there are plenty of good ones that want to be better. And so I can talk about plenty of negative stuff. I don't want to talk about negative stuff. There's plenty of negative stuff in the world that we just got to find positive things. And again, this platform allows us to share our viewpoints. Hey,
Garrett, let me throw a couple positive things in here. We've been joined by some people. John Lockett is an absolutely terrific trainer from Canada. I met him on Ian's show many moons ago. An absolute gentleman. And Stephen Fusel, who's occasionally on our show, had a buy here, pay here show on Monday, losing track of time. And Slava was on it. He's a tremendous buy here, pay here operator. So I'm so glad you joined us.
Well, 1 or 2 maybe, or no.
Our format is everybody gets a chance to talk. Everybody gets involved. So if there's anything on your mind,
it's lagging on this and there's this text. Can you resend this text, I guess?
Resend what?
Resend what, Slava?
Oh, hold on. Yes, allow.
I think Slava's on a deal. So, John, did you have any thoughts? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, well, I've been a little busy. Busy.
Yeah, that's good. So, what's your thought on the plus negative? What's your thought? What's your thought on the positive side?
Just on the positive. Interestingly enough, one of the positive things, and I get kind of humbled when I hear from people that have taken some of my courses years ago. Like the other day, I had a gentleman reach out. He's now a GSM at a dealership, wants me to go in and do the same kind of trick he got from me 7.5 years ago. Interestingly enough, his comment was that for a couple of months, he was walking around the showroom, just not really knowing what to do. So he came to the sales process seminar, 2 days. And then he tells me that when he went back, and I know because I followed his career, the following month, he made 13 grand, which he'd never made in his life before. And since then, he's been very successful. And, when I look around at a lot of the dealerships here in Atlantic Canada that I've done work with, probably 130 some odd, and I look at the websites and I see the salespeople that are doing extremely well. I've seen the ones that have moved up, that wanted to move into managerial roles, whether it's F&I or sales. Some of them now are general managers. I've seen them when they got married, they had kids. The business has been so good to so many people, including myself, that realistically, although we all know that there are times that, we'd like to see some changes, I'll tell you that the business has been extremely good to me and thousands of other people out there. And I just can't say enough good about the automotive industry.
Hey, John, I remember a quote. A guy was saying that children don't respect their elders. There's violence and anarchy in the streets. And the quote was from either Socrates or Plato a couple thousand years ago. We're always going to have turbulent times. We're always going to have people that can't get out of their own way. And I think the key is for us to be compassionate and understanding of people that have problems, because everybody's going through something, but to realize that we're here for a short period of time, and it's a sin against God not to fulfill your potential. or not to try to stay positive and pull other people out from the negatives. But boy, it's awful nice to see you, John.
Yeah, thank you. And the thing we got to remember is, this business of empathy. A lot of people aren't aware of what that can do when you're interacting with people that, you don't know what they're going through. So having empathy is huge.
John, thank you, because that was perfect. And when you see people that learned and that are future, I have a lot of F&I managers that I've watched come off the floor, come into F&I, train, and then become very successful, get married, have children, and be professional. And those are the best relationships. And those are how you feel good, by helping other people do well. So that was awesome. Thank you, John.
And Mandy, I know it looks like you're going to be leaving us tonight. Did you have anything you wanted to say first?
Oh, no, I wasn't leaving. I was saying goodnight to Russell.
Oh, okay.
Tell him to feel better.
No
No,
worries.
I'm just hanging it. It's a crummy night, but like realistically, I'm gonna echo Gary that there is a tremendous amount of opportunity and positivity in the industry. And I know every day we have these same conversations and battles that we're trying to encourage and change and improve. But the real thing we need to rely on or realize, I should say, is that we are slowly making change. We're slowly, groups like this, people coming together and really celebrating each other, empowering each other, lifting each other up, and just really, we are making a difference. We are seeing lots of improvement, and I see so many different conversations. Last night, I spent a little bit of time talking to a master technician in Australia, and he was talking about they have the exact same challenges in the shortage of technicians, the flat rate pay, like all of that stuff is the exact same problems that we're seeing over here in North America, which is mind blowing to me. So I feel that we are quite united, even though we are spread apart. This industry is very large and it does a lot for a lot of people, and we're making a lot of movement in the right direction, I think. And it's more of this stuff. And so I think I really want to just be grateful for what I get to be a part of today.
Being grateful is a smart thing. Tony, sometimes you're limited on time. If so, would you like to jump in, my friend?
I have no limit on my time. And tonight I'll be here through the whole thing. So thanks for asking, Larry. No, I'm good for now.
And I also want to spin some positive on the north side of the border. They've abandoned the EV mandates for this year.
On the north side of the border?
Yeah, they're gone. No more mandates this year. They've abandoned it. They did a total about face on it.
Did they get a new president?
No, it's just that elbows down again, just being stupid again. But it's hilarious. It's comical.
Did it strike everybody as just ironic or just flat out stupid, to use Ian's term, that the state that had the most EVs and was most adamant about adopting EVs was California, which already doesn't have enough power to power the systems they have. They have brownouts, they have blackouts.
Yeah.
Once again, it's an example of a good idea taken to the wrong extreme. If you like EVs, drive an EV. There's nothing wrong with them. And I know a lot of people that have them but love them. But once again, you can't mandate people's behavior. It didn't work with prohibition last century. It doesn't work now. And the people still love these cars. They still love them, and they'll come up with programs and rebates. It won't be as ridiculously cheap as the way Tony Thorstad, his deal's a joke. He jumped on every incentive and made it great.
I love it when they make stupid decisions. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think you will see the positive side of that in terms of that. I think you'll see more people go about face, but more importantly, it's a symptom of a bigger opportunity, which is that a capitalist system is a good thing. Telling people they must make X, Y, Z amount of this widget, X, Y, Z amount of that widget, and you must buy this widget is craziness. And I think that's what I think is the most interesting thing today is we're seeing the rise of common sense globally. I mean, France is falling apart for the same reason everywhere else is that has that philosophy. You're seeing return.
It's not common sense.
Yeah.
It's that pragmatically they're realizing
Yep.
that the things that they've embraced aren't working, and,
Yep.
and they're causing financial ruin and seismic, it changes in what they're doing. By the way, since Ian has embraced capitalism on the show, I can formally announce he is resigning as Zoran Mamdani's campaign manager.
Just remember, Ian, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens as we move away from this. But at the same time, it's always good to see that break of light in the cloud of crazy sometimes. And I think at the end of the day, that's what I'm seeing globally these days. And there's some negative, and that's unfortunate. But I think that's part of that journey. I think we're going to journey back to a world of common sense quickly, because the other stuff just doesn't make sense. And I think that's also true in the car business. I think sometimes we make car deals too complicated because we think we know what that customer wants, or we think we know how that customer wants to do it, instead of asking the customer and listening a lot more. And I think that's something that echoes in the car business, which echoes in a turn to everywhere else, which is that it's got to make logical sense for everybody. And that starts with asking great questions and listening. And I think we don't do enough of that in life in general, but specifically in the car business. And what I found when I was selling cars and when I work with people in the car business, that if you deconstruct those deals, if you study on what I'm missing and you apply that to John's point, yeah, you make a lot more money, but more importantly, it's a lot more fun at the same time, because now you might understand a little bit of what's going on. But we had Darren join us. Darren, what's your thought on what you love and what you hate about the car business? I guess you got the link, so go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Rhonda, always good to see you up in the corner there.
So what do you love and what do you hate about the car business?
Holy geez, you put me on the spot. I just got on. I mean,
Yeah, that's okay. That's the point.
Jesus,
I'll tell you what Darren loves.
What is this? It's a heat score.
When you came on, you have to come on at 7 o'clock. Otherwise, they call you out when you show up.
Well, yeah, Gary, you know better than.
It's a late penalty.
Yeah.
Forget about the
I want to go getting on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, John, I was dating John. And, real quick, what I love and hate about the car business in a nutshell.
Yeah.
The opportunity in the car business is great. In today's economy, I will say one thing that I just listened to on the news just a few minutes ago. Young kids, blah, 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 coming out of university and stuff, because they're struggling just to find like basic crappy little jobs, like seriously, like just working at really no opportunity or no potential. So the thing about the car business, yeah, you put in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever, and you're either going to be, you will end up being a good salesperson making good money. And if you're smart enough and you got the business acumen, you can go right into management. And listen, that will be, I think, for the next 5, 10, 20 years. I mean, I don't see it going away. So there is opportunity if you can get your butt into it. Now, the downfall I do find is, and even when I was working and managing stores in the 90s, yeah, it can be bell to bell. I mean, Larry, you know that when you were selling 100 cars a month or whatever, yeah, you go in at 8:30, and sometimes you don't get home, and the wife's calling saying, "When are you coming home for dinner?" And you're like going, "I don't know." You be home in a half hour? I can't even tell you.
Maybe.
So, yeah, maybe. And you show up at 9:30. I remember locking up one of the dealerships I managed at 1:30 in the morning because the client didn't believe that we would stay that long, and we did sell the car, and it was one of those spot rolls where you could deliver on the spot, right? It wasn't like 3 days to get car insurance, and they drove home at 1:30 in the morning, and I locked the door and went home. And I was a manager, but so yes, there's definitely benefits to the car business. I've been preaching it for years. There is opportunity, and it's 2025, and I'm throwing out my opinion. yes, there's opportunity in the car business for people to do well and make money. And yes, there is downfalls. I hate to say it. I used to not like working. I got to a point in my life now where in the last 20 years as a trainer, I enjoy my Saturday off. So you don't really want to tell people that. But, you know, you guys all know it's every Saturday, which is the money day. And you get addicted to it. Like everybody here that sold cars, you get addicted to working that Saturday. You want to go on a Saturday. I mean, one of my best days in the car business was on a sale Saturday. And I actually sold and delivered 6 cars in one day. And I think that was pretty good. Some of you guys might say you sold 10 or something, but 6 in one day. I was hustling my ass off all day and 6 spot roll deliveries in one day. Anyway, there's positives and negatives, guys. We all know it.
But to Mandy's point earlier, if you're a young person and you're having trouble finding your first job or you're not sure what to do, I mean, why wouldn't you get trained as a technician? Why wouldn't you take on a trade? Why wouldn't you learn about the service of vehicles, whether it be electric or gasoline? Why wouldn't you learn how to service diesel trucks? I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there, whether you're a man or a woman. If you can figure out a wrench, or if you can figure out the service side of the business, I mean, that's probably a better paying job than most of these jobs at 7-Eleven or, you know, Wendy's or, you know, whatever. Chick-fil-A, right?
Connecticut, we're building some nuclear subs down in Groton.
Yeah.
And they're short 100,000 welders, jobs that can be. So the community colleges down in the shoreline area are adding programs now. The state of Connecticut's giving them money, and because they've got big jobs that they can build, and they need people. And
Where do I apply, Gary?
What's that?
Where do I apply?
I
can't imagine what they pay a welder on a nuclear submarine.
Oh my God, these are good jobs. Yeah, and live in Connecticut, live in a nice, wonderful New London or Groton or any of those places. And you're right, there's a wonderful trade. I'm also hearing tons of young men and women are now going back into trade schools. There's another one, Cheney Tech. And I was talking to a senior that I met I was at like a cookout. And he told me he was going to be a diesel mechanic.
Yep.
And I looked at his mother and I said, "Who's the genius in your house?" And she said, "I don't know how he did it, but and that's what he wants to do." And I'm like, that is so wonderful, because that's the opportunity. And that's where we've lost that in the high school of teaching them trades and skills.
And you don't have to worry, Gary, about AI replacing you. Hey, sometimes we get so caught up, we forget about my good and great friend, Mr. Larkin. Michael, tell us what you think the good and the bad part of the car business is.
I have the same words for the love and the hate. It's I love the talk and dialogue that is uncovering or unveiling the issues and the problems. So there's no problem talking about it. What I hate is the same thing. Talk. My old man said to me long ago in the 70s, talk is cheap, son. You know, you got the easy part done talking about it. What are you going to do about it? And that's a lesson that I learned in when I was single digits as a child, and it stuck with me. And that I also hate the mentality of bad works. We've always done it this way, but it works. Well, society and technology are changing at a weekly pace. And if you've got that attitude, hey, Godspeed, good luck to you. But overall, I think the positive part is these issues are being talked about, but there's a lot of not action, and it's just talk, a lot of noise. That to me, if you're going to talk about it, be in the way you walk about it.
Well, isn't it interesting that no matter what technological advances we have, you can't replace or do better than somebody with a good attitude. You still can't beat somebody that's smiling, that's excited. They can't wait to do whatever it is they're doing, whether it's work or time with their family.
I'll figure it out if I don't know. If I don't have the answers, I'll figure it out. And that's where, that's the attitude. It's.
Mike, you mentioned we always do it this way. I was reminded of that earlier today when somebody said, we've always done it this way. And I said, always and forever are not the same thing. Just because we've always done it that way doesn't mean we're going to do it forever. We're changing it today. And I think people confuse always and forever.
People have to adapt. People have to adapt. This is 2025. I've got another little business project I work on, and they were saying, well, we've been doing it this way all the time. That's the way we do it. And I didn't want to turn it into an argument, but I said, yeah, but it's 2025. I'm not talking sales process. I'm just talking about the business process. I said, you've got to adapt, and you got to, like you just said, Mike, or Tony, you got to adapt like last week. Like you got to change that little glitch that you're doing right now. You've got to change it like now. Like everything's moving so fast.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff Shearer, what are your thoughts, my buddy? You've been an inside guy and an outside guy. What do you see as the best and worst of the fine business world?
Well, I'll speak from an outside guy with my business hat on. I'm glad that stuff is busted. Just like you, Larry. Because that means there's opportunity, for me in my business. And as long as I've been, not as long as some of you guys, but in the business, it's still busted, man. Right?
It's the body shop guy praying for ice.
That's right.
and frozen wing.
And I'll tell you what I hate, and I'll put on my dad hat for a minute. I hate that my son has to do warranty work. Because, man, he's a tech, for those that don't know, at a Toyota shop. And I just cringe, and I feel bad for all the techs that got to do warranty work, man, because you can't make a living doing that. I'm sorry. You just had to do like an engine replacement, I think that was 20 hours, it took 40, and it's like working a whole week for free.
Does he get paid differently?
You get paid less hours. Yeah.
It's they use a book, Ron, the Chilton book or the equivalent, which indicates the amount of time. If you can do a job, a 6-hour job in 2 hours, you just did great because they paid you for 6 hours and you did it 2. But what he's saying is the regulated amount that they would pay was 20 hours and it took 40 because, like he said, he just wasted a whole lot of time. Warranty work is tough.
Well, let me give you an example.
I would say the only way you can do it as a tech and really prosper is called beat the clock.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, man. You work 40, you book 60, right?
Here's a broken process. I got this recall notice today. Your second row headrest may not be compliant. Really? You built the car, and you don't know which ones have the wrong headrest? Really? Like, come on, man. You got to be kidding me. Like, oh, yeah, this is crucial and unavoidable, but it may not be compliant.
Ian, they don't want to admit guilt. That's why they say maybe.
But that's hilarious. Like, really? May not be compliant? This might be a catastrophic issue.
Ian, I had a recall on my Ford Mach-E saying that they needed to reseal the windshield. Well, now it's got a big old crack through the windshield, and let's see how they want to handle that when I turn the car back in.
Yeah, that was a catastrophic fail.
And talk about anarchy, just to add some color. Larry's met my new partner, Hugo, and I hope we'll have him on some calls here soon, but he used to be an automotive consultant for Deloitte. And he always told me, he goes, Jeff, we just need to start a business just sending invoices to car dealers. We don't do anything for them, but we're just going to send them invoices. I bet we'll make millions.
They'll pay it sometimes.
Once they pay the bill once, you're in forever. As long as that bill is less than $2.99. Keep it at $2.99 and they just keep paying it. And when it's time to cut things, they're like, yeah, don't worry about that. It's only $300 a month. Let's go up to the $300.
Just keep calling the accounting department and say, I didn't get paid yet. They won't even know. They'll just send you a couple grand.
I have menus that I put in stores and the dealers aren't using them anymore and they're still getting billed. And it's like, you might want to turn that $300 charge off and they just,
Yeah.
Hey, Slava, you're probably working a deal, but if you're free, would you like to chime in, sir? We're certainly glad that you joined us.
Actually, with the customer, and I'm kind of half ear listening to you guys, but I'm sorry.
No, whenever you're free, jump in, Slava. It's an open forum, and we're super glad you joined us.
Thank you.
All right, Mandy, well, you indicated some of the opportunity. What do you see ultimately as the worst of our business?
Well, I think there's just lots of opportunity in general that we can improve our systems and our processes that's going to just ultimately improve efficiency and just make things better. But it's a lot of having to look inward. And I've been interviewing a lot of people recently for my podcast, and I'm seeing a lot of unicorns. And even in like the heavy duty shops and things like that, there's a lot of people who are getting it right and they're doing some stuff that's thinking outside the box. And it just proves that there is so much more we could be doing if we can get past the we've always done it this way, because that is what you hear. And I hear that even in my business, and I work in a SaaS. So it's really just people getting out of their own way, and that sometimes can be hard. You got to be able to look at yourself and truly assess, are we doing the best that we can? Is there a way that we can improve this? And it's thinking outside the box. And I know it's so cliche, but that's really it. Like, you need to be brave and not scared to just do something that is uncomfortable, or maybe just try something different. And the worst thing you're going to do is pivot. So having a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of, I don't know, maybe be adventurous a little bit, be curious and try something new. But I think it's having that dialogue and having different conversations, and it's having more thought leaders like us, and like more, there's a few other people out on LinkedIn that you see, those people in the clubhouse rooms on LinkedIn, those people who are openly making the posts, having the conversations, they're the people who are at the forefront of any kind of innovation in the industry, because they're talking about it and they're trying something new and they're not scared to share it. So that's where all the people who are sitting in the back silently, and they're like, how can I get out of this rut that I'm in? At least they've reached the point to say, hey, something needs to change. I think that's the first win there. That's the first real opportunity. And then the rest is even if they just sit there on the sidelines in silence, as long as they're looking to the other people and at least seeing what other people are doing that's different, hopefully that inspires them to make some change. Because as long as everyone is living, or a lot of people are living in that it's always been done this way, it's not going to change. That's really it. So there is a lot of opportunity when you look at it that way, even in micro steps.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to someone this week actually, or maybe it was last week. They're working with a robot company, and all the robot does is deliver stuff from the parts counter to the tech in the bay. That's all the robot does.
That's cool.
It doesn't do anything else. So it picks so the tech can keep working. There's no parts runner anymore. This robot just moves the parts back and forth. That's all it does. So I thought that was a really simple solution.
I
gotta take off, guys, but I'm glad I popped on for
not a problem.
Everybody. Larry and Ian, this topic's interesting, but when you pick a really wild one, make sure you give me a call, okay?
What's a wild one?
What's a wild one? We're always looking for topics. Suggestion box below. Send us an email, man.
Darren, you haven't seen the size of Rhonda's swear jar.
I think I already
an empty swear jar.
I think the last time I was on, I think I owe a couple bucks already.
Well, feel free. Always feel free.
Free to drop in anytime. It's always good to see you. And
love seeing you guys. Love it.
And feel free for suggestions. You got a topic? We're all ears, man. We're interested.
Okay, I'll shoot one of you guys a topic.
Shoot it, man.
You run with it.
Yeah, we're there's no guardrails, man. Whatever you want to talk about, we're into it. It's fine.
And Abdul, we didn't hear from you yet. I just see your positives and your negatives.
Well, thank you, and I'm hearing all of this. The good thing is that 95% of the time I got positive stuff in my 27-year career in the car business. And the thing that makes me the most proud is like John said on his trainings and all of that, that the new arrival Afghan refugees that came in the 90s and put them in the car business, and to see that they're running dealerships in Northern California and Southern California, Arizona, Nevada. That's what makes me so proud of doing it. The only other thing that, you're talking about late hours and all of that, that was a span of 12 years at the Browning in Cerritos Auto Square that I got home, I got to the work at the dealership at noon on December 31st and got home at January 1st at 4 a.m.
See you next year.
Yeah, but we delivered 75 cars that night. That one Saturday night or that last day of the year night. We would minimum I would remember would be probably 50 cars. Only thing that the downside was really that I just hidden markups, just to do an extra $5,000 markup on this.
Oh yeah.
That thankfully we the Browning Group refused to do the markups. And if you remember when Ford came back with that Thunderbird, the Click Group here would put a $30,000 markup, and my brother was desk manager there, and the attorneys will come in, and California, it's as you know, Sacramento keeps a very, very close eye, very highly compliant state. The biggest compliant in the auto industry in the state is California, because of disclosures and ad disclosures, rebates, military. So some dealers, when they would trying to beat you up and say military $300 rebate, but they were not active military, things like that. But majority, 95%, I just love the business. And now, especially that what we discussed with Rhonda and Larry with our AI platforms and all of that, just rejuvenated me. I feel 20 years younger the last 6 months.
Wait a minute, Abdul, you're the first guy that said I made him feel younger. Mandy says I've aged her since she's known me.
No. We've known you and Sarah and Rhonda and Abe, and getting into the AI fields with our platforms and all of that, I feel like I'm 45, 50 again. So really,
did everybody kind of shake their head when Abdul said how regulated California is? He should have hung with me in New Jersey, where we would put in a deal, owner loyalty and first time buyer in the same deal.
Yeah, we couldn't get away with that. We would put a student loan with proof of student, but not military. We were not allowed to advertise it because it not pertain to all the consumers. And if it was military, it would be on the bottom disclosure. If military, you'll get an additional 300, but you cannot advertise it as a bottom line figure. And whether it be LA Times, Orange County Register, or anything like that, that at the time that we were doing, or radio ads were huge for Cerritos Auto Square. And
Russell, if you're still listening, this is from the state that gave us Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and Kamala Harris. I just want to make sure Russell.
Oh, and when you saw the book from Kamala Harris today, that she recounted and saying how reckless Joe Biden and Jill Biden were, on her book for
wait a minute. Was it ghost written by like a wine bottle or something?
She was right. Anybody that would be her vice president is reckless.
Yeah, well, and also running a second term was reckless on her time. So, oh my God, the good thing is that she's cooked forever, either to never run for governor or to step into a presidential.
I wouldn't put money on that.
You'll be back.
Not with Kamala. She's cooked in California.
She's not as smart.
She was cooked in California before it became vice president.
Well, that was Joe's state
of California.
Yeah, that was true. But after this book and everything else, walking it back, and she's got Gavin to deal with, and also Katie Porter to deal with.
Well, maybe Gavin needs an inclusive partner in crime. You never know.
Yeah, well, Katie Porter is pretty smart for my part of town in Irvine.
Anyone smarter than Kamala in my book, but what do I know?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I've dragged Rhonda kicking and screaming into the periphery of the auto business because she tries to keep me on the straight and narrow, which is like hazardous duty pay. Rhonda, from what you've seen, what do you like most and least about the car business?
Well, I'm not in the car business, but.
So if you were, or your observations
I'll
are.
tell you what I don't like.
That's a lie. You're in the car business. Look at you right now. We're tight knit. You're in the car business.
And that's exactly what I love. All the people that I meet through Larry and here on Lethal Sales. That's the absolute upside and the stuff that I love. Buying a car, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah. Going to the service department, not at all.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got our AI IQ just doubled because not only do we have Jeff Shearer, but we got David Roseborn. And David, I believe you're going to join myself and Paul Meyer on his show on Sunday, correct?
Yeah, he did give me a call about that. I said, hey, you better get Larry on that show. He said, yeah, I'm going to give him a call right now. He goes, it's funny. He was on the list.
We've got 3 or 4 unbelievably talented people that need a home. And Paul Meyer and I are going to be on Paul's show, Sunday show that's on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And
8 p.m. and at 8 p.m. East Coast time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On Zoom or LinkedIn or Clubhouse?
It's on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn Live.
It's on LinkedIn. It's Paul Meyer. It's a great show. And this week it's going to be me and Paul interviewing and putting out there the wares of people like David. Anybody that wouldn't hire David is completely out of their mind.
David, forgive me, David. I DM'd you this Abdul on your LinkedIn and said if you need help on our side because I see you're into AI and Larry, you can go more into it, and we'd love to help you out in that sector as well and bring you in. And
I appreciate that.
If you were in the West Coast, I would have gotten you a job at dealership easy with your thing. But you're East Coast.
I've been blessed that I've talked to a lot of people and doing consulting that's kind of kept me afloat. And I've interviewed with a lot of dealer groups. Unfortunately, I'm not kind of settling for just any location. I'm looking for more of a stable, companies with the right culture. And when we talk about things that I don't like in the car business, I don't like excuses, and I don't like people that have a bad culture. I don't like people who don't train. I don't like people that don't empower. I really don't like people that manage from a fog perspective, out of fear, obligation, and guilt. I've always been a person that hires. It doesn't matter if you're man or woman, what race you are, what sex you are. I mean, I don't care. I just like to train and empower people and help others. And I always go out of my way to work employees' pay plans and not mine in a leadership role. But, I've really, I've probably had a dozen F&I manager roles offered to me, and I've turned everyone down. I know I've been blessed that when I was in the box, my bad months are probably 1,800. My good months are $3,000 a copy. But I don't like F&I, and I did it because it was a means for me to get to a sales manager role. It led to a GM. It led to the C-suite. So, I can do that. I can manage that. It's not a big deal. I can train people in F&I. I do that with my son weekly. But the reality is that I've kind of probably talked myself out of jobs recently, only because, after the second or third interview and we're talking and getting to know each other, and you start telling me about yourself and the difficulties and what you want me to do, you're not hiring a marketing director. You're hiring somebody that can train your people, that knows everything in your tech stack, knows how to desk a deal, knows how to write service, knows how to change oil, knows how to handwrite a lease contract. I mean, I'm not your normal manager. I'm a hybrid, and I get that. But I don't care if something comes across my bow. My goal is to fix it. I don't care if it's in IT. I don't care if it's your phone system. So a lot of people don't like that. So when they start telling me about their pain points and why they can't, I will look to help you first, but I'll also turn it back around on you and ask you why and how come and why again. And I know that kind of can tick off the wrong person because they're interviewing me just as much as I'm interviewing them to see if you're the right fit in the right culture for me. And I'll take you down some rabbit holes to kind of test your knowledge set. So I'm that jerk that likes to break stuff, but I also like to talk to someone to get to know them to see that if we're going to work together. And I know in the back of my mind, and don't take this the wrong way, everyone, until we get in bed with each other, I really don't know you. And I don't mean in a physical way, but you know, we work together. I mean,
David, we're car guys. We don't want to get to know you before we go to bed. Sorry, Jeff. I didn't mean
I know.
religious, yeah, but I'm just being honest.
I mean, that's just it. I mean, you know, I just need to be your partner and be supportive and be that teammate. I'll be your cheerleader, but you know, I'm important to you until I'm not important to you, and then you don't really become important to me. These past decade, I will say that I've had a couple runs with some great groups, but you know, COVID caused a big change and made me jump to a group, and then I've run into some groups that were really great. We grew, and then they did a buy sell. So, you know, just due to circumstance, things have changed, but I'm okay because I can pivot. You know, today I signed a contract with a dealer for an SEO GSEO product. I added probably 3 other products to my wife's agency that I can sell if I want to. I have a couple cybersecurity meetings. I'm blessed that Sean Welsh invited me to Being Social next Tuesday to sit on their AI panel.
Yeah, I'll see you next week, David.
Yeah, so I mean, some wonderful people there. Everybody that's going to be there, I'm looking forward to it.
There's some wonderful people in Madison. That's why I'm going.
Yeah, I do. And my brother lives there, so it's always a plus, you know, when you have family in the town that you're visiting. So I love Madison. I mean, if it was outside of San Diego and places that I've lived at and stayed at, Madison is right up there. I love the people.
When are you going to be in San Diego, David?
You know, I have family that live in San Diego, so I go out there once a year, and then I stop with my brother as well, who lives outside of Vegas.
Down in Orange County.
Okay, so I mean, I went to school at Mission Bay High School.
Oh, nice.
So and my family, they're all Marines, and you know, Camp Pendleton and MCRD there in San Diego. A lot of those bases, you go in there and my family has their names like etched in the wall there. So, you know, I come from a line of Marine Corps officers going back to, officers during the Civil War, during the Revolution, and they came here as Prussian mercenaries to remove the Dutch out of New York. So they're just very strong military family I come from. So, and a lot of them just stayed kind of on the West Coast where they were stationed at. So I make my way out there very often, but I don't mean to derail your guys' conversation. But
David, I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
As far as your journey and in the next permanent position, you've done so well and so much for the car industry as far as the AI that people are riveted to you every time you talk. And I'm wondering your vision on maybe it's not for the car industry, maybe it is, that they start taking on not consultants, but CAIOs, Chief AI Officers.
Right.
Do you see that happening? Because they were trained and scheduled to sell cars. They don't know, they don't care about prompting. They don't care about, so outsource it or insource it to teach the other people how to stay afloat with this, because some companies are going down, and they're going down real quick.
And I took it upon myself to take a kind of a large language model checker, an SEO tool that checks to score your website to see how you rank on the large language models, right? On your ChatGPTs and Gemini of the world. It checks your AIO, it checks your social presence. So I built a GPT to do this. And then I took in a couple of my friends' products. And one of the SEO tools that was offered to white label and sell from a good friend of mine who used to work for Team Velocity. He offered me a tool, and his programmers built me a tool, and it also scores websites. So the past 48 hours, I've scored out 25 car dealerships from an SEO standpoint. Not one of them has scored over 40 on a 0 to 100 score when it comes to SEO, when it comes to generative SEO, when it comes to their social presence, when it comes to their reputation in general. And people forget that reputation management is just not Google. It's things like DealerRater, it's things like Yelp in the world, but it's also how people view you and your social presence and how well you're optimized there too. So all these tools, they work with each other. They talk with each other. Brian Kramer brought up schema earlier. And the problem is that a dealer cannot go in to their website and fix their schema. A dealer website provider right now cannot go and test how well you do with the language models. They don't know. Any of your website providers have no freaking clue if your website is AI compliant. They do not have the software or the technology yet. And, I worked with a company that built an automotive large language model specifically for this task over the past couple of years on and off. I've consulted with them, and there has to be roles for people to actually go in there and consult in this, because you're right. When you teach the road to the sale, you also need to be teaching the road to prompting now. So it's not just about the road to the sale anymore. It's about how we can train them how to use our tech stack. I think it's Zach, is it McVicker is his last name? On Boardian, he's got a wonderful product where he creates videos for everything in your tech stack. And it's getting to be that that's a necessity. If you're not doing that in-house and you're not using a tool like that along with your training to support you, you need these additional tools. Everybody is not built to do prompting. Very few of us are built. I mean, literally, how many people like to do videos that are salespeople? In reality, maybe 20% want to self-brand themselves, and we can give them all the tools, but they're not going to do it. So we have to figure out ways outside of the box. Either AI has to build it, and the dog's crying at me. I apologize.
20%, you're being generous, David.
I mean, and you know more than anybody. I mean, not everybody is for social media, but if you can't have your niche in social media, then look at the other forms of social media. Maybe it's your reviews. Maybe it's your DealerRater. Okay, maybe you're a good network.
Hey, David, maybe it's just when you get a comment, maybe you should damn well answer it instead of ignoring it.
And I talked about that with reviews. I was one of the dealers I consult with, wonderful GM at Sherman Dodge. They've done a magnificent turnaround from getting their Google score up from like 3.2 to 4.3 in the past year. Done an amazing turnaround in getting reviews. But I looked at it the other day, and I have access to their Google profile, and it was on Sunday, and I responded to 58 reviews. And I said, getting the review is only part of the job.
Right.
Responding to the review and thanking people genuinely, within about 48 hours, 24 hours, I need to respond to that review, good or bad. And if it's bad, I need to figure out why and take it offline. And those are the little things from a marketing role. And as a sales manager, I learned, really early off, and as soon as that became a precedent, that I needed to focus on my reputation management.
David, you said the key words. It's not reputation management. It's reputation marketing.
Yeah.
You market your 5-star reviews and thank them for the 5-star reviews, not for the person that wrote the 5-star reviews, but the thousands of people in your market that are going to read that 5-star review and see you said thank you.
And I don't know the exact percentage, but what would you think, Michael? Probably 70 to 80% of people, 85% of people look at some form of a review when they're deciding on you. And I think that
it's in the 90s, David.
It is. And
92.
Sorry. Wow. And it's just, it grows every year in that percentage. And the people here are so knowledgeable. The people in Clubhouse are so knowledgeable. But the problem is we represent the 2%, the 5%. I can't remember what you guys were talking about last week, and April had something about, we talked about the 5%. Well, the other 90%, 95% aren't really getting the job done anymore. And that's why people are turning to AI. Now, I blame us in the C-suite and leadership that we don't hold people accountable. We don't empower people. We don't train people. And there's not enough Larrys in the world. Okay, there just isn't. And
David,
there's not
I
enough
hate to correct you, but everybody on the show thinks there's too many Larrys in the world.
Well, I just think
One the man.
One
I just
Larry's
think of Where's
enough.
Waldo
One Larry's
all the time.
more than enough.
Yeah, when I think of
David,
Larry,
my father
Where's Waldo?
told me once, I love you, but if I had two like you, I'd shoot both of you. And there was a gun in the house.
No shit.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh God. And again, I didn't mean to hijack you guys here at the end of the show because I know you guys have been talking for a little bit. And I really do appreciate every time to come in here and speak with you guys. You know, I'm no AI expert. I learn from everybody around me and I'm a sponge. I repeat stuff real well, but I do have certain standards that I hold myself to. And one of them is inspecting products to make sure that they're usable in the dealership. So I do hold vendors accountable. I do hold myself accountable. And I think that we're forgetting the very basic standards with a lot of AI vendors is that they have to be useful and we have to know our whys and how we're going to use that to promote ourselves and make the customer experience better. So I hope I've talked way too much with you guys, but that's just how I am. So
David, you're welcome here anytime, and I'm going to look forward to us seeing you on Sunday with Paul Meyer.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any thoughts before we check out? As usual, we appreciate you all being here. It was another really cool show. Anybody have
Public
any
service announcement. Go, Gary.
Katie Lampier has her Walk the Lot event that she's been putting her heart and soul into this Sunday. And, you know, Mandy was talking about it. I know she put her baby to bed. But the support that's needed in the auto industry is clearly teaching dealers how to be brave again. And that's what I think is a great message is, you know, Katie was talking about something and she kept on using, there was a term with some of these veterans that are rehabilitating through PTSD, and it's trust the process. And so what we're all doing is trying to get people to trust a process. And once you trust the process, you can be brave because then you know what you're supposed to do. So I shout out to Katie. I wish her the best luck on Sunday. She's doing amazing things. I'd love to find some dealers in New England that want to do something very similar because I think that's a movement that military in the auto industry are the best employees because they've already been trained skills and they're easy to teach and they're willing to be involved. So thank you.
Love it. Ian, any last thoughts, my buddy?
No, doing another show on Monday about can you buy a car from home? Yes, no. So if you want to check it out, let me know.
Larry,
And
could you please send me an invite on that show for Monday? Because
yeah,
I would
absolutely.
love to share something with Larry and I that are doing with AI with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Monday, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. It's
Monday.
Ian. It's the Auto Hub show. Ian, do you have Abdul on your network? Can you send him?
Yeah, I can send Abdul the link if you want to join in live and want to be one of the panelists for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because 3 weeks ago on a Monday, I missed it on an emergency, which I texted you on it.
Yep.
But I would love to be involved again this coming Monday.
Yeah, and if you want some homework, before the show, you can watch this Monday show where we had Doug from A to Z and also the gentleman who runs the car buying program for Walmart on, and that was a really interesting show on sort of the state from both sides.
Kindly DM me the link and
I will
do that.
Absolutely. Have yourself a great night.
Stay healthy. Thank
All right.
you so much. Have a great.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Sure.
God
Good night,
bless.
everybody.
Good night, guys.
Bye.